Hey, what's up? Tim Sykes here with an important video lesson. They're all important. The more you study, the better you'll do. POTN was a great dip buy, actually a great short and a great dip buy from the 50s to the 60s or from the 80s down to the 50s. Money to be made on both sides. How do you do it? A lot of people ask. Well, guess what? You study the past. You study the past. You study the past. I have 500 plus videos on buying dips and panics, okay? Every dip, every panic is a little bit different, but when you are dip buying one of the strongest stocks in the entire market, like POTN, a stock that has run for several days, several weeks in a row, and has a big morning panic, the odds are good that it's gonna bounce. And that is how I made 3,000 on these kinds of plays and 5,000. And if you watch all of these, I don't win every single time. Sometimes the stocks just don't bounce and I cut losses. But if you watch all 500 plus video lessons specifically on dip buys, you will do better. Look at this. Sykes categories is the link. These are all my different categories of video lessons, and I really want you watching them all. Some of you guys are asking, how do you spot this? How do you know the pattern? Because I study the past. I'm a glorified history teacher. The same exact patterns happen again and again. And if you fight me on it, guess what? You will not be my next millionaire student. If you actually listen and study the past, you will be surprised. I do get emails every few days from people where they're like, wow, Tim, I actually took the time and I studied some of the past. Guess what? You're right. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Come on, guys, study. Here is how I did it. I didn't actually even trade it. I've had a crazy morning of meetings, but I got into my chat room when I saw the panic, and even though I didn't personally trade it, I commented, and this is all time-stamped. That's the beauty of this chat room. I said at 11:33 a.m., POTN, big time morning panic, potential dip buy here in the mid-50s. Let's just see what 11:33 a.m. was, right around here. And it actually went a little lower, so I didn't catch the exact bottom with my commentary, but I said mid-50s, and the low was 53. And now you have a nice bounce. Let's do some basic math. Here's a calculator. 0.685 minus 0.535 divided by 0.535. This is a 28% bounce inside of an hour. Do you want to make 28% on your money in 1 hour? Leave a comment underneath this video saying, I want to make 28% in 1 hour. Let's see how many of you guys actually want it. The first step is saying what you want. This is a 28% bounce. And okay, maybe by the time when I alerted it, it wasn't a 28% bounce. It's a 25% bounce. So you tell me, let's be honest here. I want to make a 25% return in 1 hour. And I know that sounds crazy because most people in the stock market would love to make 25% in a year. But if you focus on these patterns, POTN, first big panic day after a huge run-up, okay? This is the pattern that is working best right now, and so many of you guys are actually getting it. I'm proud of several challenge students. My challenge students are my VIP students. They study the most. They perform the best. Mark Crook was shorting it, and he made 4,000. Mark Crook, in case you don't know, is probably going to be my next millionaire student. He's closing in on $1 million. 936,000 in profits. Well, 940,000 in profits now. Awesome job to Mark. And I also got to give props to Huddy, Michael Huddy. He's a challenge student and he was a mastery student. You might have seen him featured in my Instagram story a few days ago. You know, he banked like $5,000 in 2 days when I was teaching in person. Now he made 8,500 on the short side, and then a few people dip bought because look at this. Earth Shadow got in at 55. Let's see. Oh, Mark Crook bought the dip, so now he's up 5K on the day. Good job. And then, you know, I got back into the chat. Like I'm going in and out of chat because I'm just mobile. I didn't have a chance to actually get on my laptop this morning. I was just going in and out. But an hour after my first thing, I said nice bounce, and it was a 25%. It's more than a 25% bounce, 28% bounce, but 25, 28, whatever. Even if you just captured it for 10%, who wants to make 10% on their money on a bounce in one morning? Sometimes I'm not going to be around. Sometimes I will have meetings. Sometimes I'll miss the actual trade, but I'll always try to comment on it, and I'll always make a video lesson because you can learn from it. Even if you didn't necessarily profit on this one, on the short or the long, I think it was Interactive Brokers that had shares to short, but there'll be others, and it's just a question if you're prepared or not. Like Mark Crook, who has watched all my video lessons. These categories, by the way, this was created by Mark Crook, FYI. He watched all my video lessons 3 times, and he's the one who suggested these different categories. So that's how much you need to study. And guess what? Now he's made close to $1 million. Huddy has been studying nonstop. He's been my student for 3 years, and now it's really clicking for him. He just made $62,000. Now I guess he's over $70,000 in profits. And he's still in school, so he's studying part-time, and he's studying my stuff part-time. He's studying the school stuff part-time, and he really just gets it, I love it. And that is it. That's what I teach. This isn't voodoo. This isn't magic. You don't even have to make 2,000 or 5,000. I mean, I have some people where they're making less because they're trading with smaller amounts. Where was it? Right here. Trading Machine. Thanks to Tim on POTN, 2 dip buys myself for $400 in gains today. So it doesn't matter if you have a big account or a small account. I mean, if a stock is bouncing 25, 28% inside of an hour, I mean, that's a lot of meat on the bone to take. I say, okay, you need to take the meat of the move. I mean, this is a good move. And there's a whole bunch of different stocks in play, but POTN is nice. And this guy said, Tim, a video is a must this evening on your call at POTN. Guys, it's the same exact motherfucking pattern as always. 508 videos on buying dips and panics. First red day, big morning panic on a recently strong stock. They usually get overdone. The stock was down, 35% on the day? I mean, it's still down 20% on the day, but it was overdone. And you don't know exactly where the support level is, but guess what? It usually wipes out the last day or 2 of gains when it starts getting excessive. And there's a lot of choppiness in here. At 54 was the high here. So you could say 54. I mean, it went down to 53, but this isn't an exact science. But anywhere around here turned out to be, pretty good dip buying opportunity. When a stock is down 35%, 40% in a morning, I mean, that's a little excessive on a recently strong stock because some shorts have to cover, like Mark Crook made his money shorting this. Huddy made his money shorting this. And in order for them to cover their shorts, guess what? Covering means buying to cover. So that's going to push the price up a little bit when shorts take profits. And also you have some dip buying people who missed out on POTN. I was buying this at 30 cents. The thing tripled. This is the single hottest stock in the market. So I was early on my buy several days ago, roughly 2 weeks ago, which is awesome. So there was a lot of upside. There was a lot of downside today on the short, and there was a decent dip buy. I mean, this is just classic patterns, and it's all speculative junk. Like some people are going to be like, but POTN is a scam. Or some other people will message me and say, but POTN is going to $50. I don't care where it goes. I care about when it fits the patterns that I know, it fits the patterns that I teach, and that is when I look to trade it. Or in this case, because I was too busy this morning, look to comment on it. And my commentary was dead on. So get in my chat room, okay? Watch my video lessons and get in my chat room. That's your 2 basic to-do lists from this video. I specifically gave a potential dip buy here at 11:33, and then an hour later after my meeting was over, I talked about how it was a nice bounce. And unfortunately, my meeting was right when this thing, really bounced. And obviously, there's other stocks too, but this is my pattern. And you take those profits. You don't just hold and hope. I know some people are like, well, I think it's going to come back to its highs. I don't fucking care. I don't care what it does now. It already had its 20, 30% bounce. That's near best case scenario. If you can make, again, even just 10% on your money in an hour, if you have a $5,000 account or you put in $5,000, you make $500. That's a good 1 hour income. Okay. You have a $50,000 position, you make $5,000 in an hour. That's a good income. And that's just taking, roughly a third of the potential profits. That's saying, like, even if you didn't time it perfectly, that's how much opportunity there is. So anyways, here's your video lesson. Not saying anything new. Literally, Exact same pattern as all of these other videos that too many of you guys aren't watching. If you do want to make this money, start now, okay? Make a promise to yourself that you will study my video lessons. Make a promise to yourself that you will be prepared next time. So leave a comment underneath this video saying, I want to make 25% in 1 hour, because that was doable and it's going to happen again. Thank you.